Okay. Right. Good morning, students. Today I am going to explain the derivative and differentiability, the related objective questions. Before going to go through the objective questions, one should know the difference between differentiability and derivative. Derivative means already you are well versed with the definition of the derivative. Derivative of the real valued function at a point f dash a. Derivative of a real valued function f at a, f dash a, is the limit as x goes to a, fx minus f of a by x minus a. Once this limit exists, takes a finite value, then that limit value is nothing but the derivative of the function at a. So, derivative is also one kind of limit that should be noted here. So, f dash a, the derivative of the function at a particular point a, x equal to a, is the limit as x goes to a, fx minus fa by x minus a. But whereas the differentiability is the nature of the function. That means the differentiability means whether the given function has a derivative or not. It announces that, the differentiability announces that whether the given function has derivative at a particular point or not. It announces the derivative of the function. So, differentiability is an adjective which announces whether the function has derivative at a point or not. That is the difference between derivative and differentiability. Derivative means it is one kind of limit, it takes a finite value. That is called derivative of the function. Differentiability means it is an adjective, and it announces that the function is either has derivative or not. So, f dash a plus, it is called right hand derivative. Right hand derivative at x equal to a, which is so defined as a limit as h goes to 0, f of a plus h minus f of a by h. This is or a plus h minus 1 and this. Once this limit exists and takes a finite value, that limit is known as right derivative of the function at a. It is right derivative, right hand derivative otherwise. Similarly, left hand derivative at a, which is so defined as f dash of a minus left hand derivative at a, x equal to a, is it is also a limit as h goes to 0, f of a minus h minus f of a by a minus h minus a. This is a left hand derivative of f at a. Once the right hand derivative and left hand derivative exist and equal only, the function is said to be differentiable. So, that is the point. If f dash a plus equal to f dash of a minus, if right derivative is equal to left derivative at a of the function, then f is said to be differentiable. This is differentiable. Differentiable at x equal to a. This is the basic definition of the derivative. Hence, derivative is one kind of limit. Once the limit exists, then we can say that the function is differentiable. Otherwise, it is not differentiable at that particular point. If the limit does not exist, then it is not derivable. Next point, if f is derivable, then f is continuous. That is, f is derivable at a, that implies f is continuous at x equal to. Derivability implies continuity of the function. Once the function is derivable at x equal to a, once this limit exists, then you can say that the function is continuous also. But the converse need not be true. That means once f is continuous, then we cannot conclude either f is derivable or not derivable. So, if f is continuous at x equal to a, it need not derivable at x equal to a. It need not derivable at x equal to a. Either it may derivable or may not be derivable at x equal to a. That means the converse of this statement is not true. Next point, f is discontinuous at certain point. Discontinuous at x equal to a. Suppose the given function is discontinuous at x equal to a, then that certainly implies f is not derivable at a. Derivable at x equal to a, we can conclude. So, discontinuity implies non-differentiability, but whereas differentiability implies continuity, but continuity does not means f is derivable at a. This point is very important point. Even though the function is continuous, the function need not be derivable. The function need not be derivable. These are the worth note points related to objective. Next point. F dash a is slope of the tangent drawn to the curve at the point a comma f of a. The derivative always gives us once it exists. The derivative always gives us once it exists. It is the slope of tangent drawn to the curve f x, y equal to f x, of course, at the point a comma f of a. Since suppose geometrically once you draw the graph of the function y equal to f x, once the graph of the function y equal to f x is like this. Let us take the point x equal to a plus h always considered as positive. A plus h is another point on x axis, x equal to a plus h. So, let us consider these 2 points. Let it be this is p and this is q. Here p is clearly a comma f of a, because this length is a and this length is f of a. Similarly, this length is a plus h, this length is a plus h. This length is A. This length is only A. And Q becomes A plus H, F of A plus H. So, P is the point A comma F of A, Q is the point A plus H, F of A plus H. This length is F of A plus H, this length. Now, once you draw the perpendicular from this one, it becomes, let us suppose this is the point M. Here QM becomes, this length is F of A plus H and this length is F of A. So, F of A plus H minus F of A. Because this is F of A, this length is F of A plus H. So, F of A plus H minus F A gives us QM. And similarly, PM becomes, this length is A plus H and this length is A. So, A plus H minus A, which is H of course. Now, taking this, on joining this chord and taking this angle as theta, taking this chord PQ, chord means the joining of any 2 points on the curve. Once you take the chord PQ on the curve and taking this angle the chord makes with the positive direction of x-axis, angle is theta. Then tan theta is nothing but, here tan theta is nothing but, here tan theta is from this triangle QM by PM, QM by PM, opposite side by adjacent side, QM by PM. But QM is F of A plus H minus F of A by PM means A plus H minus A, which is F of A plus H minus F of A by H. That gives us the slope of the chord PQ, because once any line is making theta angle with the positive direction of x-axis, that means with the horizontal line. If this chord makes theta angle with the horizontal line, then its slope is F of A plus H minus F A by H, which is given by tan theta. So, it gives us slope of PQ, chord PQ. Okay. Slope of chord PQ becomes F of A plus H minus F A by H. Now, as H goes to 0, what happened? As H goes to 0, this point is very closer to this point. That means that chord becomes, once this point is very closer to P, this chord becomes tangent at P. Once it is moving towards P, once Q position is here, the chord is like this. Once Q position is very nearer to P, the chord is like this. So, in such a way, the chord becomes tangent at P as H goes to 0. So, limit as H goes to 0, slope of chord PQ is nothing but limit H goes to 0, F of A plus H minus F of A by H. Okay. But with the definition of the derivative, this is F dash A plus, right derivative of the function. This is F dash A plus, right derivative. That limit once it exists, then F dash A plus. That is the right derivative of the function at A. So, the right derivative of the function at A is equal to limit as H goes to 0, slope of the chord PQ. As H is nearing to 0, the slope of the chord becomes slope of tangent, because the chord becomes tangent. So, this one is slope of tangent at P. that is a comma f of a. So, the derivative always gives us the slope of the tangent at a particular point. So, this is the concept. With the same concept, you can take the left hand derivative also. Once the graph is, the orientation of the graph is like this and the chord is like this, you take a minus h and a here. As h goes to 0, it is nearing to this point and this chord becomes tangent at that particular point. So, whose slope is given by f dash of a minus. So, once derivative exists, either right derivative or left derivative, and both are equal, then that derivative of the function certainly gives us the slope of the tangent of the curve at that particular point x equal to a. So, derivative geometrically gives us the slope of the tangent, that is to be worth note point here. For that we are taking that one as if we said the right derivative based on the right derivative definition. Just I am showing that slope of tangent at a is f dash a plus. Similarly f dash a minus is also slope of tangent of y equal to f x at p a comma f of a itself. Hence f dash a always gives us the slope of the tangent of the curve y equal to f x at that particular point. That is to be noted here. Derivative geometrically always gives us the slope of the tangent at that particular point. Next concept. L'Hospital's rule. L'Hospital rule. Based on the derivative, we can evaluate certain kind of limits. What kind of limits that we can evaluate with the help of the derivative? That is the point. So, the related concept is L'Hospital's rule. L'Hospital is the mathematician name. So, based on that mathematician name, the rule is evaluated here. The rule announces that if f comma g are differentiable at a and limit x goes to a, f x by g x takes 0 by 0 indeterminate form, then by this rule, by L'Hospital's rule, limit as x goes to a, f x by g x is nothing but limit x goes to a, f dash x by g dash x. F dash stands for the derivative of the function, g dash stands for the derivative of the function. So, limit x goes to a, f x by g x, this limit can be evaluated with the help of the derivative of the numerator as well as denominator. Individually, you can find the derivative of the numerator and derivative of the denominator individually here and apply the limit. It gives us the limit. So, this rule is called L'Hospital's rule. Suppose this limit is also takes the value 0 by 0. Even though once you differentiate the numerator and denominator individually and applying the limit as x goes to a, still the indeterminate form does not arises, that means still it is in the form of 0 by 0, you can continue the same process for higher derivatives. That means suppose it takes 0 by 0, then it is also equal to limit as x goes to a f double dash x by g double dash x. You can go for higher derivative, the second derivative of f. This is the first derivative of f. This is the second derivative of f. Once you differentiate, once again you are taking the derivative, that is called second derivative. So, once again this is of the form 0 by 0, you can go for third derivative. Once even though the third derivative takes the 0 by 0 form, you can go for fourth derivative, until this process can be extended until this indeterminate form removed. That should be noted here, and so on. And so on. This is valid whenever the denominator at a is not equal to 0. This can be continued, this process can be continued once you apply the limit exists and denominator is not 0. This is called L'Hospital's rule. So, once f and g are having differentiation, that means differentiable function. F, g are differentiable means individually you can able to find the derivative of f and g. Once these two are differentiable, the limit can be evaluated with the help of the derivative. That is the point here. Now, I will explain this L'Hospital's rule through an example. One example. If f of 2 equal to 4, f dash of 2 equal to minus 1, then find limit x goes to 2 2 into fx minus 2 into f of 2 by x minus 2. Oh, this is not 2, this is x. F of 2 is given 4, f dash of 2 is equal to minus 1. Then find the limit as x goes to 2 fx minus x f of 2 by x minus 2. Coming to the solution here, I will evaluate the limit with the help of L'Hospital's rule here. Limit x goes to 2 fx minus x f of 2 by x minus 2. That is equal to, once applying the limit straight away, as x goes to 2, it becomes f of 2, hence 2 f of 2. This is also 2 f of 2 because x is 2, minus 2 f of 2. So, hence this is 2 f of 2 minus 2 f of 2 by 2 minus 2, clearly 0 by 0 form. 0 by 0 form. The limit takes 0 by 0 form, indeterminate form. In such case, you can go through the L'Hospital's rule. So, by L'Hospital's rule, by L'Hospital rule, the given limit is limit x goes to derivative of the numerator by derivative of the denominator. Derivative of the numerator is 2 into derivative of fx with respect to x, f dash x. 2 is a constant. So, 2 into f dash x is the derivative of this term, minus f of 2 is fixed. F of 2 into derivative of x is 1 by derivative of x minus 2. For x, the derivative is 1. For the constant 2, it is 0. So, by L'Hospital's rule, just I am taking the derivative of the numerator as well as denominator separately, because derivative of fx is f dash x. Derivative of x is 1. This is constant. This is also constant. So, hence 2 into f dash x minus f of 2 by 1, which is limit as x goes to 2 f dash x minus f of 2. Now, apply the limit. Taking the limit as x goes to 2, we get 2 into f dash of 2 here, 2 into f dash of 2. This is constant, hence the limit itself, f of 2. F dash 2 is given minus 1. So, hence this is 2 into minus 1. F of 2, that is 4 here. Hence, the required limit is minus 2 minus 4, that is minus 6. Actually, once you apply the limit directly, you get 0 by 0 form. By taking this L'Hospital's rule and applying the derivatives to the numerator and denominator individually, and then taking the limit as x goes to 2, we get the limit as a finite value, which is minus 6. In such a way, the limits of indeterminate form, which takes indeterminate form particularly 0 by 0, then you can able to find the such limits with the help of this L'Hospital's rule based on the derivative of the numerator and denominator. This is a simple application of the L'Hospital's rule. This is very important point. If the graph of the function has sudden jumps or falls or steep corners, steep corners means conical corners or conical corners, conical shape. Then at that points, generally f is not derivable or differentiable. Particularly the graph of the function, once you draw the graph of the given function, it has sudden jumps or falls or having a conical shaped turning points or conical shape, it takes some conical shape at a certain point. Then at that points, usually the function f is not derivable. The graph of f, here the graph of f, graph of the function f, the graph of the function f has sudden jumps or falls or steep corners or conical shape. Then at that points, usually or generally f is not derivable. F is not differentiable at that particular point. It may be continuous. It may be continuous at that point, but not derivable. This is one important point related to derivability. It may be continuous at that particular point. For example, I will explain this point through an example. Check the derivability of check the derivability of fx equal to mod x at x equal to 0. Check the derivability of fx equal to mod x at x equal to 0. To check the derivability of the function, at first I will check the derivability of the function through analytical method. Analytical method means based on the limit concept, I will check whether the function is differentiable at 0 or not. For that, right derivative. Let us consider the right derivative of the function f dash of 0 plus. By definition of the right derivative, that is limit h goes to 0, f of 0 plus h minus f of 0 by h. This is right derivative of the function. So, this is limit as h goes to 0, f of h minus f of 0 by h. Limit h goes to 0, f of h is mod h, f of 0 is mod 0 by h. Here h always considered as positive. Once h is always considered as positive and very nearer to 0, this is positive. Once h is positive, modulus of h becomes h. So, this is limit h goes to 0, h, this is clearly 0 by h, which always takes 1 because you can remove this one time. So, limit as h goes to 0, 1 is 1. The right derivative of the function is 1 here. Since h is positive, modulus of h is h itself. And similarly, f dash of 0 minus left derivative, I will check the left derivative at 0. Limit as h goes to 0, f of 0 minus h minus f of 0 by minus h. This is left derivative. So, that this is limit h goes to 0, modulus of minus h minus f of 0 is 0 by minus h. Since h is positive, minus h is negative, but we are taking modulus, hence it is h. This is clearly h itself by mod h, which is clearly minus 1. The right derivative is 1, whereas the left derivative is minus 1. The right and left derivatives does not exist, exists but not equal here. So, therefore, right derivative exists which is not equal to left derivative. Both right and left derivatives are exist, that means taking finite value, but they are not equal. That implies f is not derivable at x equal to 0. Clearly, the mod function f x equal to mod x is not derivable at x equal to 0. This is analytical procedure of checking up of the differentiability of the function at x equal to 0. Through geometrically, the same concept can be observed by drawing the graph of the function here, f x equal to mod x. So, geometrical method I will explain through geometrically. Here f x is mod x. Mod x means x for x positive, minus x for x is negative, and 0 for x equal to 0. That is the definition of the mod x. Once x is positive, mod x is x. Once x is negative, modulus of x is minus x. For x equal to 0, f x is 0. This is the definition of f x equal to mod x. So, once you draw the graph of the function, here, for x equal to 0, y is 0. That means the graph is passing through 0, 0. For x being positive, x takes 1, 2, 3 and so on positive values. Corresponding f x is x itself. That means y equal to x. Y equal to x is the line like this, which makes 45 degrees angle with positive direction of x axis. This is fx equal to x, x being positive. For x being negative, that means minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 like that. Fx takes the value minus x, y equal to minus x graph. Y equal to minus x graph is like this, fx equal to minus x. So, the graph of the function fx equal to mod x is like this. It takes zeros also. It takes a V shape. The V shape, it takes the turn at 0 origin. So, here we have a sharp corner or a conical shape in the graph, but it is continuous graph, but it takes a sharp turn at that particular point, hence it is not derivable. At that particular point it is not derivable. So, through graphically you can explain the derivative by this point. Once the graph of the function takes conical shape, at that particular point the function is not derivable, or it has a sudden jumps, the function is not derivable. Once the function is discontinuous at that point, the function is not derivable. Once it is continuous at that point, it may derivable or may not derivable. You cannot conclude straight away the differentiability of the function once it is continuous. These points are very important points in dealing the differentiability and derivative. The remaining simple formulas, coefficient formula, product formula, and function of function rule, these are all well known to you, already given to you. Now, I will give you certain problems based on these concepts. Simple derivatives. Object to questions. Limit h goes to 0. Tan of root x plus h minus tan root x by h. Limit as h goes to 0. Tan of root x plus h minus tan root x by h. Here let fx equal to tan root x. So, f of x plus h is nothing but tan of under root x plus h itself. So, therefore, given limit as h goes to 0, tan of root x plus h minus tan root x by h is nothing but limit as h goes to 0, f of x plus h minus fx by h, which gives us the right derivative at x. So, which is nothing but f dash x itself. You can straight away take it as f dash x. F dash x means derivative of f, d by dx of f. Fx is tan root x. So, the limit is equal to the derivative of tan root x by function of functional rule tan root x. For a tan function, the derivative is secant square root x into derivative of root x. For the tan function, the derivative is secant square. Here the angle is root x, and this is also a function of x. So d by dx of root x. I am applying function of function rule. So that is secant square of root x into derivative of root x is 1 by 2 root x. 1 by 2 root x. Since d by d theta of tan theta is secant square theta and derivative of root t is 1 by 2 root t. So based on these formulas, derivative of tan theta, once you assumed root x as theta, secant square theta, and whereas theta is a function of x, hence again you have to consider the derivative of root x separately by function of function rule. So this is secant square of root x into derivative of root x is 1 by 2 root x based on that formula. Hence the required limit is given limit equal to secant square of root x by 2 root x. This is our answer. In such a way you can evaluate certain limits based on the derivative. Similarly, another problem. If fx equal to ax square plus bx plus c, then limit x goes to 5, fx minus f of 5 by x minus 5. If fx equal to ax square plus bx plus c, a second degree polynomial, a quadratic polynomial, then you have to find the limit as x goes to 5, fx minus f of 5 by x minus 5. Clearly, taking the limit as x goes to 5, fx minus f of 5 by x minus 5. This is of the form limit as x goes to a, fx minus f of a by x minus a. Limit x goes to a, fx minus f of a by x minus a. By definition of the derivative of the function at a particular point, clearly once this limit exists and it is always equal to f dash a. By basic definition of the derivative, straight away you can evaluate that limit with the help of the derivative itself. So this is also in the same form where a takes the value 5. So hence this is equal to f dash 5, the derivative of f at 5. F dash 5 means f dash x at x equal to 5. F dash x at x equal to 5. F dash x means derivative of f, derivative of taking the derivative of the function. So we get 2ax for ax square the derivative is 2x, plus for bx the derivative is b because derivative of x is 1 and derivative of constant is 0. So the derivative of the function is 2ax plus b at 5, at x equal to 5. So taking x equal to 5 in this one, we get 10a plus b. This is the required limit as x goes to a, fx minus f of 5 by x minus 5. Simply just I applied the differentiability definition at a particular point, differentiability of the function at a particular point. Limit as x goes to a, fx minus fa by x minus a is always equal to f dash a. Using this formula, straight away you can take that limit as f dash 5. F dash means derivative of the function. Taking the derivative of the function and taking x equal to 5 in that derivative, we get the required limit value. Next one. Similarly, limit as h goes to 0, sine of 3x plus 3h minus sine 3x by h equal to limit as h goes to 0 sine of 3x plus 3h minus sine 3x by h. So, this is equal to limit as h goes to 0 sine of 3 into x plus h minus sine 3x by h. Clearly, once you consider this one as f(x), this is clearly f of x plus h. Once f(x) is considered as sine 3x, replacing x with x plus h, you get f of x plus h as sine of 3 into x plus h itself. So, the total limit is of the form limit as h goes to 0 f of x plus h minus fx by h. Limit as h goes to 0 f of x plus h minus fx by h itself. By definition, this is f dash x. Using this definition, this is nothing but derivative of f dash means derivative of sine 3x itself. Because fx is sine 3x, derivative of sine 3x is, for sine function, the derivative is cos 3x into derivative of 3x again. Derivative of 3x is 3 into 1. So, derivative of x is 1, hence this is 3 cos 3x is the required limit. Limit as h goes to 0 sine of 3x plus 3h minus sine 3x by h is clearly 3 cos 3x. If you consider the limit straight away, it takes 0 by 0 form, that can be observed here. So, you can remove that indeterminate form 0 by 0 form and you evaluate the limit with the help of the derivative here. Just mere applying the basic definition of the derivative, you can able to find the limit. Next one, dy dx of a minus b cos x by a plus b cos x. dy dx of the derivative of the function a minus b cos x by a plus b cos x. Clearly, this is of the form dy dx of fx by gx or u by v, where u and v are the functions of x. The derivative of a rational function which is of the form u by v is nothing but g square into g into f dash minus f into g dash. So, by coefficient rule, derivative of f by g is g into f dash, denominator into derivative of the numerator minus numerator into derivative of the denominator by denominator square. This is the formula, coefficient rule of the derivative. So, dy by dx of u by v is v into du by dx minus u into dv by dx by v square. Apply this coefficient rule to evaluate the derivative. So, by this coefficient rule, the derivative is here. Here the v is a plus b cos x. V square means a plus b cos x whole square. In the numerator, v means denominator, a plus b cos x into the derivative of the numerator, a minus b cos x minus numerator into derivative of the denominator, dy by dx of a plus b cos x. A plus b cos x into derivative of the numerator minus numerator into derivative of the denominator. With the help of the coefficient formula, straight away we are doing that problem. So that a plus b cos x into Here derivative of constant a 0 minus b into derivative of cos x is minus sin x minus a minus b cos x into derivative of constant a is 0 plus b into derivative of cos x is minus sin x by a plus b cos x whole square. Here the formulas are very important. Once you are familiar with the formulas only, you can evaluate the derivative or otherwise the limit of the function. So, you go through the formulas thoroughly. So, that is equal to minus b into minus sin x, that is b sin x. So, b sin x into a plus b cos x minus, here is minus b sin x, minus of minus plus, plus b sin x multiplied a minus b cos x by denominator square a plus b cos x whole square. Now on simplification, we get ab sin x here, again ab sin x here. So 2ab sin x, the same term repeated twice, ab sin x here and ab sin x here. Like terms, on adding like terms we get 2ab sin x. Next, b square sin x cos x minus b square sin x cos x, it cancels. So that 2ab sin x by a plus b cos x whole square. The required derivative is 2 sin x, 2ab sin x. 2ab sin x by a plus b cos x whole square is the required derivative. Just apply the coefficient rule to evaluate the derivative here. Next one. d by dx of 3 sin of x degrees. d by dx of 3 sin of x degrees. Usually derivative of sin x. Usually derivative of sin x is cos x. But this is valid in case of x is measured in radians only. X is measured in radians, not degrees. But here the angle is given in degrees, not radians. So, convert the degrees to the radians, then apply the derivative. So that we know that 180 degrees equal to pi radians. So, 1 degree takes the value pi by 180 radians. Hence, therefore, x degrees is pi x by 180 radians. Just I am converting x degrees in terms of radians. So, therefore, d by dx of 3 sin x degrees becomes, 3 is a constant, you can take, since it is independent of x, you can take 3 as common and apply the derivative to sin x degrees. Sin x degrees means sin pi by 180 x radians. So, 3 into, here the angle is converted to radians. So, this is of the form sin ax, sin ax. So, for the sine function the derivative is cos pi by 180 x into derivative of the angle is also a function of x. So, the derivative of pi by 180 into x, that gives us pi by 180 itself. Pi by 180 into x is here x degrees. You can replace this one as x degrees into this is pi by 180. Derivative of x is clearly 1. So that the required derivative is 3 pi by 180 into cos x degrees or pi by 60 into cos x degrees is the required derivative of 3 sin x degrees. Pi by 60 cos x degrees. Derivative of a function, trigonometric function, exists whenever the angle of the trigonometric function is measured in radians only. Derivative of sin x is cos x, derivative of cos x is minus sin x, derivative of tan x is secant square x. All these formulas are valid whenever the angle is measured in radians. Next one.